This is a fan-generated show. If you'd like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our new Rumble channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thrilled to announce the release of my new book, Obama's True Legacy: How He Transformed America. There's a reason why Mike Huckabee calls it a ferocious and chilling read. Order it now at Amazon.com or at FrontPageMag.com. Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Tonight, another fantastic program with a super fantastic guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember we're a fan-generated program still being persecuted by the deep state that remains, even though Donald Trump is doing a fantastic job with starting to drain the swamp. But in the meanwhile, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and Rumble channel of the Glazov Gang. Press instant notifications. Go to jamieglazov.com, subscribe to our newsletter. If you're in a generous mood, please donate to us, because we're all, as I repeat, we're only here because of you. Follow us on X and on Facebook at Jamie Glazov. Most importantly, support Annie Cyrus and her fight for freedom in America and worldwide at liveuptofreedom.com. The man, the myth, the legend is with us tonight. The GOAT, A.J. Rice, America's publicist, columnist, humorist, and author of the new book, The White Privilege Album. And the crowd is going wild. Woo!
That's right, brother. It's great to be here. It is the infamous GOAT in the house.
Oh, wait. Boo, boo. Oh, we hear some boos in the auditorium.
Hey, I'm wearing my Eagles colors tonight. I got my midnight green and my blackness. I'm ready.
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes' funeral, brother. Come on.
Okay. We're going to get to the Super Bowl. We're going to get to that.
Well, I will tell you, I'm also wearing Irish colors tonight because I'm in mourning. I'm in mourning because I had $70,000 pulled from me this week because I was in the midst of a production of a DEI musical in Ireland. This was, when the funding got cut off for USAID, then a lot of things we do here at Publius PR got cut off. So I can no longer make my DEI tranny musical in Ireland, and the transgender opera in Colombia is also now off the table. So we are in mourning here. No more, DEI musicals or operas. It's a shame.
Oh, and I've heard that we might stop spending hundreds of millions of dollars on trying to get rats to transition. I'm just so many sleepless nights coming up. I want to talk about that, AJ. Obviously, that's our focus for tonight. And we can laugh so much, and yet, for you, I'm sure, I've been studying the left since I was a little kid. It's so disgusting and so evil. And let's get to that. But something I don't want to say much more important, but very important is your story. And with all jokes aside, AJ, a lot of people in Trump's cabinet, a lot of people that are at the right hand of Trump now, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that you built a lot of these people up. A lot of them were your clients. And if somebody was a client of yours, it means that you helped them rise. And a very large percentage of people around Trump came through A.J. Rice. And I think we should talk about that a little bit, because this is crucial. Tell us about it.
Sure. We ended up in a unique position. It's a long story that goes back when I was producing shows, like this one for Laura Ingraham and Monica Crowley and others. That's 20 years this year. But it's a weird thing. A lot of, what you're seeing on the news right now, where Trump is, trying to drain the swamp at the speed of light, and there's one missile barrage goes this way, and the left and the media go running, and another one goes this way, and he's got them off balance, which is good, like a boxer. What a lot of people don't talk about is beyond just the government, here in Washington, D.C. There is a parasitic group of people. Yes, some of them are lobbyists, some of them are NGOs and non-governmental organizations, but there are these firms that they call GR firms, which stands for government relations firms, and then there are PR firms, like I run at Publius PR. And it's interesting if, and someday I'll write this book, but, in 2016, 2015, when Trump was slowly, decapitating the 16, 17, 18 other dorks that were running against him in the primary, most of the PR firms and GR firms in this town threw in with, the Ted Cruzes and the Rand Pauls and the Rubios and the Jeb Bushes and so on. Now, some of these people have seen the light. I never really had beef with Ted Cruz or Rand Paul. But if you recall, Trump was like, whack-a-mole these people for almost an entire calendar year. They didn't know what to do. Bobby Jindal and, I think Governor Pataki was running. It was crazy what was going on. People forget how many people there actually was. Carly Fiorina, right? And it was interesting because here in town, these PR firms all threw in with everyone else. So I was in a unique position a decade ago now almost to sort of back Trump. Now, Laura Ingraham and Monica Crowley are mentors of mine. They backed him almost immediately too from their positions in the media. And they're like my big sisters, and I was their executive producer once upon a time. But, some things occurred, where history was changed, at least in my life. And one of them was one of the big PR firms in town could not work on Judge Jeanine Pirro's book. Now, they couldn't do that because they had a conflict. They had a content conflict. And it was a legal one, too, quite frankly, because they were doing Jim Comey's book, okay? The villain. So Judge Jeanine ended up with me. Now, I've now done, I think, 4 books with her. Again, she's like my, surrogate mother that, sticks her high heel up my rear end whenever she feels like it. And from there, I was able to work on Donald Trump Jr.'s 2 books. So that was sort of this force multiplier that happened. Because from there, I was able to reconnect with certain people, bring in other people. I ended up in MAGA world. We like to say here, and I think I told you before, that Publius PR is at the center of the MAGA cinematic universe. And in the course of all of that, I end up also in RFK Jr. world. RFK Jr.'s publisher is a place called Skyhorse. The head of Skyhorse's super PAC, or the head of Skyhorse is also the head of RFK Jr.'s super PAC. So I ended up working on all the Bobby people too. So here I am, at least in the last 2-3 years, where I'm working with the Trump camp and the RFK camp, even before this last presidential election started. So from there, all kinds of hell has broken loose. There was this term, 6 degrees of separation, which became 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. And I like that because Kevin Bacon's from Philadelphia, like me. But when you look at some of the cabinet now, because of where I've been and what I've done and who I've worked with, these are 1 or 2 degrees away from Publius PR or AJ Rice. So Amazing. I've known Pete Hegseth 20 years almost at this point, right? So Hegseth, I've known him for 20 years, and we worked on his book. We worked on Tulsi Gabbard's book a year ago. So that's fresh. RFK Jr., I just explained. Scott Bessent, a lot of people, and Jamie, I know what you cover, and I know what you've been covering for years. So Scott Bessent, a lot of people, he was the silent owner for an imprint that Steve Bannon was involved with too, that I was doing the PR for. Now, no one knew that he was the owner of this thing for a while. I didn't even know. at least during the first sort of wave of books, which included people like Peter Navarro, people like Naomi Wolf. We did a Tucker Carlson biography by Chadwick Moore, which made the New York Times bestseller list. So this was just something that Bessent he owned. It was private. They didn't put out a lot of books. They put out like 5 or 6 a year. And I did the media for it. Well, now he's the Treasury Secretary, which is interesting. I didn't see that one coming. I got to be honest with you. But here we are. So, well, yeah.
AJ, incredible story, and keep up the great work. Hey, look, the Glazov gang is doing okay, but whenever you're on the show, I mean, I'm, at a grocery store or just walking through my neighborhood, and I hear the chatter, oh, Glazov gang, AJ Rice was on the Glazov gang. So it's incredible.
Again, it's like, they're throwing underwear like Elvis is in the building. Exactly.
Well, I have heard that, years back, I to the best of my knowledge, you're married now, but during your single days, I heard that the way that the women were reacting to Elvis and the Beatles, this is how they were behaving when you would walk into a room. Am I correct?
That's right. That's right. I was the tallest midget. It was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, there was always a 4 or 5 to go home with.
Okay. AJ, what a sewer the left is. And when we, thank God Trump is in power, but when we watch what's going on with USAID, USAID, hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe that's even an understatement, on what we were discussing when the show began, and you had pointed out, just whatever, in some third world country, forcing education about cutting off penises and, calling a boy or girl's name, whatever it is that they're enforcing on people. And just I just want to get this out there in case I forget to mention it. The left likes to call conservatives racists. And I see so much racism here as well, because what the left loves to do is it goes to other countries, especially to third world countries where the left feels that they're the teachers. And they look at minorities and people that live in poor nations, and they look down at them. And they think that they need to be taught, and they force all these evil ideologies on them, including, trans and all this stuff. And it's very interesting that they achieve so many things at one time. They're just trying to destroy God's creation. And at the same time, by forcing these evil ideologies on so many people throughout the world, is that they trigger hatred of the United States, which is what they want. Anyway, wasting a lot of our money. I mean, we could just go on and on. AJ, just in general, what is all of this about? Just complete waste, and obviously an effort to bankrupt the United States as well, while spending hundreds of millions of dollars on destructive ideologies, right?
Sure. Well, and some of what you're saying is, yes, it's a virtue signal where they go into these, third world or brown or black countries, and they bring the wackiest white people stuff they could find, right?
Yeah.
And, look, $2 million from a Moroccan pottery classes. I mean, I don't know what the hell that is. $20 million to send Bert and Ernie to Iraq to do Sesame Street in Iraq. I guess Bert and Ernie and Oscar and Cookie Monster are going to go looking for the weapons of mass destruction. I don't know what they're going to do. But you have a virtue signal for sure. But as you saw with the 100-day Kamala Harris campaign, where they raised over $1 billion and then spent it all and went into debt, this is a giant laundromat situation. This is a Marty Bird in the Ozark show situation. This is a giant grift. And Musk has caught them in it. And this is just one of these, groups. Wait till he gets to, the what is it? The GAO, the Government Accountability Office. I mean, there are so many of these things. Wait till they start looking into what the National Endowment of the Arts is paying for. I mean, buckle up.
Yeah. So AJ, we're saying destructive leftist ideologies for sure, the war against the Judeo-Christian tradition, against our creator, etc. And you're saying just downright theft and greed.
Well, no, I mean, so what goes in? So here's what happens: this money gets allocated to this phony USAID. It goes in, right? Then these contracts go out, like $2 million for sex changes in Guatemala, a Catholic country. It's insane. $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt, right? You could go on a horse and carriage ride, I guess, with Ayman al-Zawahiri or something. Look, here's the thing: it goes in. It then gets repurposed and sent back to the pet projects that the left likes. And then those individuals that work at these places donate. I mean, I saw the number. It's like 99% of them are donating to Democrats running for office. This is a giant money laundering operation. Yes. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
AJ, now the laundering that's going on, then we start adding some other stuff. BLM was burning down American cities. Now we're finding out that a lot of this government money and all these contracts, the money is being funneled into BLM. So if American taxpayers' money is being taken, given to BLM, BLM is destroying American cities. We know what the World Economic Forum is doing. We know what George Soros is doing. Now the evidence is also surfacing that a lot of this money through the Biden administration was going to them. So America is being burned by fire, and the money for the fire is American taxpayers' dollars.
Absolutely. We're paying for our own destruction. We're signing the, I mean, look.
But the left
really
is
unbelievable.
AJ, the left is brilliant, right?
Oh, sure. I mean, look, this grift has been going on for decades. And part of the problem, and this is the reason you've got Trump, part of the problem is too many Republicans. I mean, let's think about this for a second. It's all well and good for Lindsey Graham to go on TV with this money to, a transgender comic book in Peru, which, Lindsey might like. Electric vehicles in Vietnam, combat disinformation in Kazakhstan. Look, you people were all there. Okay? Chuck Grassley, some of these senators, Thune, they were perfectly okay with the grift. The Bush, the McCain, the Romney, they were all there. Everyone was okay with it. The Trump comes along with Musk and RFK Jr. and a pack of freaking bloodhounds digging in the backyard, and they go through one organization, just one. And look at this crap that they find. Can you imagine what DARPA's doing, what the IRS is doing? Can you imagine?
And wait till we find out who's funding the trafficking of children and them disappearing. Right? And now apparently overnight, Trump has found 80,000 of the missing children.
I mean, look, some of this money was going to Echo Health Alliance, which we know this is gain of function research stuff. And then listen to this one. So listen to this. Hundreds of millions of dollars to fund irrigation canals, farming equipment, and fertilizer used to support the unprecedented poppy cultivation and heroin production in Afghanistan. I mean, brother, we are funding all different ways for us to die, all different kinds of ways, whether it's fentanyl or, viruses that escaped the, Dr. Fauci's underwear drawer, whatever the hell it is. I mean, this is like a doomsday list. And you read this and you say to yourself, this is not some phony list Rice made up as a joke for his book. This is a real freaking list.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
AJ, and then now you have when you take away the delicacies of demons. So I think about, when, I've studied this and contemplated it throughout my life. It's scary stuff, but it's the millionth reminder to us of the reality of Jesus Christ, and praise the Lord. When the priest comes in with the holy water and the possessed individual, and then it's there, and then he might start dropping some droplets, and the way that the possessed individual and what the demons, how they start behaving. Why I bring this up is when you even begin to suggest that abortion might not be as easy to do and not as funded, etc., etc. When you start taking child sacrifice away from the left, when you see those pro-choicers in the street and how they start screaming and yelling, you're taking away the demons' ability to engage in child sacrifice. Why am I saying this? AJ, when I was watching the other day, you see Chuck Schumer with his little gang there? I think they were outside of the Capitol or wherever they are. What is that? And I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, my question is, when we think about Dante's Inferno, like, what circle of hell is that? We will win. We will win. And then they're all there. But just tell me, when Chuck Schumer and who's there with him, and but it looks like a whole bunch of confused demons that are in some kind of neurotic, hysterical fit. It's actually kind of scary to observe, isn't it?
Yeah, Trump said, "Get me an old priest and get me a young priest," and in walked RFK Jr. and Musk. Right? I mean, you're watching an exorcism of big government take place. That is what you're watching. So yeah, you're going to have Linda Blair type behavior with heads spinning around, shooting pea soup into the air. You might see Elizabeth Warren and AOC crawling across the ceiling here before this is done. That's what's going on. This has been their freaking demonic gravy train, and we have derailed it. And we've only looked under one rock. One.
But AJ, when we think about when you saw Cory Booker, how he's yelling, and you look at Elizabeth Warren and how she's screaming, you would think that, oh, maybe somebody took their child away, or something horrible happened, and then you read the details, and some rat can't be transitioned in some country. It's incredible what they're actually upset about, aren't they? Isn't it?
Well, and they know that, we're going to, I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, and it's like Christmas. Trump's moving so quickly. It's like Christmas for us conservatives. But I just find it fascinating. I have to call out the Republicans that, this stuff was all going on right in front of you guys. So you were okay with it too. I mean, all these different groups, and you know who they are, and there are good people in them. I mean, you and I have listened to speeches from libertarian types for decades, right? And look, Rand Paul, every Christmas, he goes onto the Senate floor and he does his little airing of the grievances, Festivus, and some of that pork sounds nutty like this, studying the breeding habits of, praying mantises and stuff like that. But this is really funding, in a lot of cases, deviancy. This isn't just some stupid National Geographic thing. Yeah. And it makes you wonder what else.
And that's why they're so. Yeah, that's why they're
nuts. Yes.
Yeah, they're going nuts, and also, well, there's a million things. It's I remember my years in academia, and I would overhear the professors and the grad students in the graduate lounge, and it's fascinating. They were talking about how just keep the welfare going, keep the debt going, and build up so much debt that they're going to force the capitalist system to collapse. So all of these hundreds of millions, just keep spending all this money till the United States can't even afford it anymore and collapse the structure. They're upset that we're not wasting money because there's a malicious agenda there. Annie Cyrus is an expert on many of these matters. She's also a very shrewd psychologist and might tell us a little bit about the mental illness here. Annie, what do you make of this whole circus and circle of hell?
Well, let me start here, Jamie. I was recently corrected. Don't be a bigot. It is not third world countries, it's developing countries because we're giving them money to develop and become America.
Right.
Genuinely, I was corrected recently coming from a third world country myself, it was very funny when somebody told me, "You're a bigot." I'm like, "You do realize I'm Iranian, right?" Anyways, that's besides the point. Um, AJ, I'm so glad you said that twice, not once, because I feel like, yes, we gotta call out Democrats, but I have been frustrated watching the rhinos, Republicans, whatever we want to call them, come out guns blazing against a lot of good President Trump has done in a very short period of time. But if we call them out, somehow our own people turn against us. So, do you mind talking about this little, let's call it a bubble, that we are only allowed to call out certain group of people, otherwise we don't belong to the party, or we're traitors, or we're whatever they want to call us? Where is that bubble of Republicans? How do we burst that bubble?
Well, and that's a bubble that is shrinking. And I think at least some of these Republicans, so far, Thune has delivered everybody. He just delivered Pam Bondi, and she immediately cut off all funding to 222 sanctuary cities in the country. And she filed a lawsuit against Chicago or Illinois, which is great. And just boom, Jedi mind trick immediately right out of the gate. You know, the Paul Ryan, John Boehner, McConnell, Trent Lott world was always to try to appease us, appease the Tea Party, appease the Heritage Foundation, appease the MAGA movement. But that's over now. Trump is not rolling into town with, the H.R. McMasters and the Tillersons and the Mattises and John Bolton and the Dirty Mustache. This is a group of disruptors, and they were chosen because they are disruptors. And Trump is the great disruptor, and Jamie, we've talked about that. So they're not sure. He's moved so quickly, and they're so prepared. This stuff, that they don't know what to do and where to sort of make their stand. We talk about the first 100 days of these presidencies. I feel like we've been through 100 days already, but we're only in week 3, right? So it's just February just happened. It's just, we just got to February. So, they don't know what to do. He is hitting them. He's rope-a-doping them and hitting them. Fall back, hit him again, like Ali, right? And I will tell you, it pleases me to see. It pleases me because if you interview Peter Navarro or interview Stephen Miller and some of the people that were there for the 4 years prior, a lot of the problems were personnel being fed to Trump by the RNC or this group or that group. All that's over. So, yeah, there has been a freeloader parade here, and it wasn't just Democrats. And I will say this, and I think J.D. Vance knows this. You have a brand new party here. You have a multi-ethnic working class coalition. Trump didn't win because he got more members of the Chamber of Commerce to vote for him. He won because he stopped applying purity tests to people like RFK Jr. and Elon and Tulsi Gabbard, and we expanded who would vote for a Republican. Got away from the old Mitch McConnell foghorn leghorn Republican Party, right? And if you can keep it, we can dominate. We absolutely can, right? Like Jordan in Game 6, we can dominate. But there's always going to be those, people in Washington, Republican people, certain, moneyed people that like the pharmaceutical companies and they like this group and they like that group, that they're going to try to derail some of these people. I see some of that happening with Kash Patel and Tulsi. But if Trump holds the line, I think you really can get, Jamie, we talked about this before, a true great reset. See, the left's been screwed. Wokeism and globalism, they're going to use these two things to reset the country, reset the globe. Well, Trump is resetting them. And as long as he stays safe, which I'm always worried about, obviously, he might be able to pull it off.
Well, since you brought up the globalism, let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on? If you don't mind, I'm going to throw 2 questions because you also named Elon Musk and Steve Bannon. One, what are your thoughts or maybe concerns about this internal fight going on? The big example of it is Steve Bannon going up against Elon Musk. I'm not siding with neither side. I'm just saying, I have concerns. What are yours if you have any? Secondly, where are you with the Stargate project?
Well, okay. Well, the first thing, the fight that, look, so here's the thing. There's a lot of egos involved, right? Bannon was the main consigliere in 16. I mean, him and Kellyanne Conway kind of finished the race there. So Trump has pardoned Bannon. Trump, isn't trashing Bannon. There are factions out there, but I would caution our friends in some of that camp that understand something. The richest person in the world was red pilled. He instituted the greatest digital jailbreak in history by bringing everyone back to life on Twitter, which is now X. He seems to have an affinity for slashing the hell out of government. I think he was instrumental in the picking of J.D. Vance as well. So, I know we're always looking for someone inside the tent to shoot at, but we have the left on the run here. What did Newt Gingrich used to say? My 80% friend isn't my 20% enemy, or something like that. The idea that we would go after Musk. I from what I can tell, Bannon has backed down a little bit on that. He's kind of alone there because other people in Bannon world, the Alex Joneses and the Tuckers, they love Musk. Musk better be careful himself. I'm always worried about him, his safety, because he's cutting off the spigot here. As far as a Stargate goes, look, I'm not totally read in on all things AI. Musk doesn't seem to think that they are able to pull it off. Maybe they don't have the money. Musk also has a rivalry, I guess, with Altman, I guess, who's one of the people backing this. I will also say this. Musk seems to be the only one of these guys. And I have to put everything in movie terms because I'm not an astrophysicist or an engineer or any of these things. Musk seems to be the only one that has gone public and saying, hey, maybe we should slow down on AI in general. Maybe we shouldn't create Terminator 2 or The Matrix just yet. Maybe we should pump the brakes. This might be more, maybe, Pandora's box is opening. But a lot of these other people seem to be just running into the great unknown, the undiscovered country. I always remember this one line that Morpheus uses from The Matrix where he says, "We marveled at our own magnificence and we gave birth to AI," right? And then he tells Neo this whole story about, what happened and how the robots turned on us. And look, if you give anything artificial a type of intelligence, your only frame of reference of what intelligence could be is human, because you're the maker of the artificial intelligence. And what happens pretty much all throughout history, Jamie, when you make something that has intelligence a slave? Well, you get a slave rebellion. Right? Which is what Sarah Connor warns about in Terminator 2.
Don't forget Will Smith, iRobot.
Well, yeah, Isaac Asimov warned about this. Any of these guys, the Uncanny Valley, Richard Matheson. Look, we could go through tons of science fiction, and little by little, day by day, science fiction is slowly becoming reality. We're getting there. We're not at Judgment Day yet. And I write about AI, and it's a little bit in my books, but it's usually I'm kind of poking fun at the fact that these leftists that are creating some of this stuff are imbuing it with wokeness. So you've got this woke robot or this woke AI program, which I find kind of funny. But this is an existential thing. If these things ever go from software to hardware, they could build an army.
True. And in general, I try not to trust anyone 100%. But I personally started being more concerned with Stargate led after studying Larry Ellison. The guy is scary, but also when Elon Musk had questions about the speed of this project. That's when I became even more concerned because, I mean, at the end of the day, Elon Musk loves his robots, right? But when he even says, hold on,
Right.
let's think about this.
That's right.
Again, I really hope that President Trump will have his, discussion with Elon Musk and 5 other experts before pushing this forward. But I appreciate you giving your feedback on that. Thank you. Thanks, Jamie.
Sure.
Well, thank you, Annie. I think as Christians, when we think about the mark of the beast and Revelation, and we look at the road ahead in terms of meshing AI with the human brain and maybe the human soul, there might be something disturbing at hand. So we're keeping an eye on this, but I think this is for another program. Although A.J. Rice is also a little bit of a theologian, I think, as well, right?
Sure. Irish Catholic boy with the one true Holy Apostolic Church. No, I'm joking. There's plenty of Christianity to go around. Yeah, I mean, to some degree. I mean, I'm always worried about us creating something that, where we think we're God, right? For sure.
Absolutely. Look, let's just get back to USAID for a second. As you say, AJ, tip of the iceberg. So now I'm glancing at something else the other day. Certain CIA analysts from the Obama administration wrote this memo that started a certain cycle. Now it's turning out that USAID and the CIA, it's being revealed that they were actually behind the orchestration of Trump's impeachment. This is a little bit disturbing, is it not?
Sure. I mean, look, the CIA, every member of the CIA was just given, an opportunity to leave. I mean, I'm not shocked here. I worry for everyone's safety because, it's one thing to cut off the spigot of DEI stuff, but some of these other departments where real sort of global power is being flexed in the shadows, woo. I mean, that's the thing with the CIA. I'm not, I mean, we start digging around there, God knows what we're going to find for sure.
Well, I'm not suicidal. Annie's not, and you're not. I think that we had to announce that as well, right?
That's right.
We cannot have brilliant people like AJ Rice on the show without our sponsors. So we're going to take a quick sponsor break.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took My Pillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented My Pillow to bring you the best pillow in history, My Pillow 2.0. Just like all of you, I never imagined that My Pillow could get any better. That's why I haven't changed it in nearly 20 years. Then I heard about a revolutionary new technology, and I knew I had to bring it to you all. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
The My Pillow 2.0 is cooler and softer than the last My Pillow. It is so comfortable to sleep on at night. I look forward to going to bed, and I wake up well rested in the morning.
Sleep is all about temperature and height. My Pillow 2.0's patented adjustable fill is going to give you the exact individual support you need from your head to your bed. And now here's where it gets even better. We've all experienced those temperature-related sleep interruptions where you get too hot, you toss and turn, you flip your pillow over to the cool side. Well, all that's gone with my brand new My Pillow 2.0 cooling fabric that's made with temperature-regulating thread.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a MyPillow or not, you need to get the brand new MyPillow 2.0. Call or go to MyPillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
Visit mypillow.com.
And that's right. Make sure to go to mypillow.com or mystore.com and use promo code GG21. You're going to get a discount of up to 60% off all the amazing products. You're going to be helping the Glazov Gang and as well as the great Mike Lindell. And if you like one-of-a-kind handmade art, make sure to go to lutfstudio.com and purchase resin art pieces made by the one and only our producer, Annie Cyrus. Use promo code Glazov to get special discounts. You're going to be helping Annie as well as the Glazov Gang. AJ Rice, how many pillows do you have from My Pillow?
I got my pillow. I got my slippers too. So I'm good.
Right. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with My Pillow?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's a great product, and again, they tried to harm him, cancel him, but he's nonstop. He's booming back. I even heard that Lindell TV, which is his media apparatus, may end up with a White House correspondent soon. So that's I mean, we've come a long way,
Yeah.
Everyone gets a voice.
AJ, every day right now is like Christmas. Some things are bringing a smile to my face. Some of them are bringing a huge smile to my face. Due to my studies, there is one particular individual that I think to say dislike might be a bit of an understatement. This is a very evil character in terms of what he's done to American security and just his role in weakening the United States, especially in the face of the Islamic threat, etc., etc. His name is John Brennan. I was very happy to see what Trump did recently. Brennan and a whole bunch of other characters lost their security clearances. Great stuff, right? What do you make of that?
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that these people were able to float along, they were involved in Crossfire Hurricane. They were, being paid as supposed experts by multinational corporations like Warner Brothers at CNN and Comcast Universal at MSNBC. Trump stripped them not only of their security clearance. Brennan, I don't think, is not allowed in any government building. I mean, he might not even be able to use the bathroom at a national park by the end of the week here. I mean, he's cooked.
He done a lot of damage. That guy did a lot of damage.
And he took some of the Secret Service protection off of some of these professional wackos like Fauci and Bolton. And Trump said, look, these guys have made a lot of money trashing me and trying to bring America to its knees. Because they have plenty of money to go hire private security. I can give you some phone numbers if you want. That's what Trump said.
Yeah. And look, a lot of these individuals are involved with certain officers at Mar-a-Lago actually going through Melania's underwear drawer. So there should be some justice dealt out here, right?
Absolutely. And FBI agents that were in on the J6 fiasco, the raiding of the president's house, wiretapping of Trump Tower. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we've all been inside this thing for a decade now, since the OG came down the golden escalator. And if you study any one of the nuggets from any one of the last sort of 3 election cycles, in any other time, Jamie, we'd be going nuts about a small minutia of it. And yet it's been one thing after another, which, I mean, it's almost in some ways a level of divine providence. Certain people escaped to change the course of history. Obviously, Lincoln didn't escape the theater, but the fact that he got reelected in the middle of the war, the fact that he got elected the first time, quite frankly. I mean, there are just moments in history that America has, and Western civilization does this too, this sort of unique ability to conjure up, a man of the moment or a woman of the moment. Almost like white blood cells flying towards an infection inside the body, right? And I don't care whether it's Andrew Jackson in New Orleans. I mean, there are these moments in America. I mean, Washington had his horse shot out from under him. And I mean, so many different times this could have went another way.
Yeah.
Right? And it hasn't. Reagan could have died from his assassin. I mean, there's just moments when, for whatever reason, and it might be, divine providence, that we have, escaped the clutches of evil, sometimes foreign, sometimes domestic.
Thank you, AJ. When we just think about the evil that the left represents here, so just in terms of what ICE is doing, well, we know now that in one particular development, ICE it did a raid on illegals, and they had been tipped off. Some are saying even by some media reports. So Holman says he's going to do something about that. But you got to think about the psychology of leftists, that there's illegals in our country who are not just mowing a lawn, but there's a certain percentage of them that are killing and raping American citizens and children. And you would actually try to save those people from being caught and deported or prosecuted, etc. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, these are Trende Anagua, right? This is a Venezuelan gang. Murderers, thugs, killers, rapists, drug dealers, child traffickers. And you've got these wackos in the streets tipping them off. I've seen some of them with the bullhorn. Some of them are making phone calls. I mean, these aren't lettuce pickers, right? These aren't lettuce pickers. And they try to pretend like they are. Try to pretend like they're citrus pickers or grape pickers or whatever it is. And look, Trump is not playing around. I can tell you, I communicate with the White House almost daily. And, not just the top level people that have been confirmed so far, but I mean, they're filling, all the middle management are clients of ours too, a lot of them. And I can just tell you, the governor of Illinois, the mayor of Chicago, someone's going to get a knock at the door. Someone's going to need to be made an example of. Okay? And they can think that they're fighting the power all day long. But this country just voted for what is happening here. Okay? So I don't care whether it's these activist kooks in Colorado or one of these politicians. Isn't it interesting? You saw this wacko governor of New Jersey basically say he's hiding illegal aliens in his house.
Isn't that illegal? Even some of the stuff that AOC is saying.
He changed his tune real quick when Holman said, "I'm coming over there later." Hey, stay where you are. I'm coming over.
Yeah, but even what AOC, what Maxine Waters, their rhetoric, I mean, it starts bordering on not just unethical, but maybe even illegal, right?
Well, they're talking like insurrectionists. We're going to fight in the streets.
Right.
We're going to fight in the streets. I saw some woman named LaMonica. This woman, I mean, you want to talk about backbenchers, and I guess her district is in North Jersey. I guess she represents the Foot Locker at the Paramus Mall or something. But the fact that these are representatives of a group of people in New Jersey, and they're out front of the Capitol screaming about, Elon Musk, the Nazi Nepo baby, is going to take away my DEI musical in Ireland. I mean, it's insanity. And I love it. I got to be honest with you. I love it because these people are look, I'm a marketing professional. if I wanted to destroy the Democrat Party, I would keep sending these people out there screaming and hollering about mutilating the genitalia of children and all the other crazy crap they're worried about. Green New Deal, immigration raids, whatever the hell it is. If they want to continue to lose badly and get their clock cleaned with their glass jaws, then keep it up. I say if AOC wants to go to the floor of the United States House of Representatives and she wants to debate Nancy Mace about letting Gary and Tim and Bill and Jerry into the women's freaking bathroom up there, make a commercial out of it.
Yeah.
Make a commercial out of it.
Absolutely. Annie, what do you think about our discussion? And maybe you might want to add something about Trump applying pressure to Iran again, thank God, and hopefully stopping them from their nuclear weapon narrative and journey.
Well, as you know, I'm a radical when it comes to that. I'm very glad he's starting to put pressure on him, but I think he needs to do way more than that. Way more than that. And here's an example. On January 20th, Prince Pahlavi sent a letter to President Trump and also published it publicly. You can find it on his X account, pretty much congratulating President Trump and on a long letter, basically reaching out and saying, you have the opportunity to go above and beyond Abraham Accords and go for Cyrus Accord. And he's referring to Cyrus the Great, freeing the Jews, all that. You have the crown prince of Iran standing by, ready to take power. It's just me. People of Iran are voting for him. He's standing by to take power. I think this is a great opportunity for President Trump to make history as mentioned on that letter. Let's get rid of these mullahs once and for all. The rest will, the whole talk about let's go own Gaza, forget it. Why do we want to go do that? Let's get rid of mullahs. Middle East will come peaceful in matter of months. It's done. Every single one of these alphabet soup of Hamas, Houthis, Hezbollah, ISIS, Taliban, they're going to disappear because without the mullahs funding them, they can't survive. So that's my very radical take on it.
Thank you, Annie. AJ, on Iran and Trump?
Sure. Well, the mullahocracy does fund all those groups, and now some of those groups were funded, before 1979, and you know that, Jamie, studying the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Ayman al-Zawahiri and Anwar Sadat's assassination. I mean, that wasn't Iran. What went on with Nasser in Egypt and Gaddafi. I mean, some of these guys were sort of pan-Arabists. They played footsie with the Soviet Union while they fed certain, nonsense to their Bedouin people. But the big Arab states, Saudi and Jordan and Egypt, they seem to be in agreement that the Iranian sort of crescent that goes into Lebanon through southern Iraq and so on, that this is their main problem. I mean, they have more beef with, the mullahs than they do the Jews, which is unbelievable considering, the Old Testament. but it's an interesting thing. Now, Gaza, look, I see Gaza as, this was a slum. Basically, they allowed this group of people to let's see what you can do with this land. Well, you freaking destroyed it. It is a gigantic dump. I think Ariel Sharon, they backed out of there when, Jamie, like 04 or something.
Yeah, after 2005-06, yeah.
Yeah, and they immediately destroyed it. So
yeah, they even destroyed the Israeli greenhouses that were left for them.
So it's a postage stamp. Yes, it could be beautiful. It could be Monaco. It could be South Beach. It absolutely could be that.
But not with Islam involved.
Well, right. So here's the next thing. There is a country that exists that has a Palestinian majority in it, and it's not Gaza or the West Bank. That would be, I believe, Jamie, Jordan. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a gigantic group. So, I mean, look, Trump could basically force Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan to take every single member of Gaza.
But they don't want any. They don't want any of them.
Well, he would. I mean, he's going to do to them what Trump would do. Is he would do what he just did to Mexico and Canada.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. We got to wrap up. But Annie, any final thought on what we just said about Gaza and Islam and Jordan and all that?
No, but I mean, not with the time we have left. But bottom line is, somebody's gonna have to take care of them all.
I mean, there is a deal there, and remember, we're dealing with the deal maker in chief, Annie. You know, there is a way to couple Gaza to the Iranian problem. It might be as simple as, I'll remove the mullahs, but you got to take all these Gazan people. Okay, I'm turning Gaza into, you know, I'm putting a freaking golf course there on the beach, and I'll get rid of the mullocracy, the wackos, the little Hitlers in Iran. You know, it's as simple as that.
But who do you want him to make the deal with? Who do you want to take the Gazans?
Well, what he says is to Egypt and Jordan and Saudi is, you're taking these people.
Yeah, but that's tangibly, that's not going to happen. Saudi
when you
Arabia is
do-
not going to take him.
Well, but I mean, look, Iran tried to kill the Saudi ambassador here in a restaurant. So what he says is, I will handle your Iran problem, but here's my terms. You're taking these people. Okay?
Right.
You're taking them.
Well, I would say I agree with the fact that Trump is the master of making deals, but I go back to the roots of 10 years ago when I said, you don't make deal with these people. Jordan, Kuwait, Dubai, Bahrain, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, any of them, the 50 Islamic countries, you just don't make deal with them. You don't.
Yeah.
You give them no option except do what needs to be done. Look what just happened with the Hamas deal. It was a disaster. You can't make a deal. It's making a deal with the devil. I don't know. I don't think he can do it. Not permanently.
Well, I mean, look, they have a long history of bad behavior, you know, beginning in 622. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And maybe we mean deal if the deal means just no options and force. As we know, the whole tragedy involved here is, despite the accusations against people like us, we care about all civilians, including Muslim people and Muslim children. We cry for everybody. The tragedy is that in the Gaza Strip, as in many places in the Islamic world, when you start teaching kids from the age of 3, 4 that you need to kill the infidel and kill the Jew and kill the Christian, we're dealing with a very serious problem. AJ, we got to go, but you are a prophet, especially in the sports world, I think. We've got the Super Bowl coming up, Chiefs and Eagles. This program will come out before the Super Bowl, but even if people watch it afterwards, they will be stunned by your accuracy. What do you say?
That's right. Well, I'm hoping that, you know, John Radcliffe and maybe Elon Musk discover that the CIA are actually running the Kansas City Chiefs. No, I'm joking. I would say that if they're going to beat the Chiefs, it needs to be too big to rig. Okay? Too big to rig. You can't just be up 3 or 1 score with 2 minutes left and Mahomes has the ball. They're going to need to blow them out of the water. I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I think, you know, the Eagles lost to the Chiefs 2 years ago. The chips are sort of stacked against them. The NFL wants a three-peat. They want Taylor Swift to be happy. I saw Roger Goodell came out there. He says he's going to stick with his DEI programs. He likes them. So I think Philadelphians and the Eagles fans should teach the NFL, Roger Goodell, and the Chiefs, and especially Andy Reid, a lesson on Super Bowl Sunday. And hopefully, depending upon, ladies and gentlemen, when you saw this, I was right.
Fantastic. All of our viewers, if you haven't bought and read White Privilege album, The White Privilege album by AJ Rice, get it immediately. AJ, where can people follow you and check you out if they're not doing it already?
Yeah, at Publius PR on X. I'm on pretty much every social media handle, either under AJ Rice or Publius PR.
AJ, I have a feeling that whenever you're somewhere, you're the coolest guy in the room. And I think that that's going to continue for a long time. Am I correct?
Well, you know, it's hard to be the Fonzie of the conservative movement, but somebody's got to do it, right? It's not hard. It's not hard. You know, it's okay. But I will say, Republicans writ large, conservatives, we are we're becoming a little more counterculture, right? We're not wearing the bow tie as much, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Are you going to help me get Trump on the show one day?
And I would love to. I would love to be able to do that. I mean, I might have to swing for Don Jr. first and then go from there.
Okay. AJ Rice, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you for coming on the gang.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Good night.